Most of us go through life with the implicit assumption that there's me here and the world out there. It feels quite obvious that there's a subject on one side and an object on the other. But when we analyse any particular moment of seeing, or hearing, or thinking, we cannot identify two things interacting. Appearances are not things that appear to awareness. There is only awareness appearing as things. The sense of being a separate observer watching those things comes afterwards, as an interpretation layered on top of the raw immediacy of appearance. No sight or sound or thought can be separated from the fact that they have appeared. The idea of an unapparent appearance, of something that exists independently of its own apparentness, is a conceptual inference that can only exist in thought. Duality can only exist in thought. It is just a concept. There is never any separation between any appearance and its apparentness. Non-duality is the only thing that can ever be present. We can never experience any real duality because there is nothing that stands apart from its own apparentness, the fact that it is present as a form of awareness. Duality can only be thought, and this thought is itself a non-dual experience, just like the sight of a shape or the hearing of a sound. Our confusion arises from the fact that concepts, unlike sights or sounds, refer to things. The concept of a tree, for instance, is a mental appearance that labels certain visual appearances. Both are appearances, so both are non-dual experiences. But the former refers to something other than itself, and that is the origin of separation. Concepts and thoughts can also refer to other concepts or thoughts, and since thoughts are internal appearances that refer to external appearances, thought naturally labels itself as that which is encountering something other, something outside it, and thus we get the appearance of being a separate self. But since thoughts are appearances just like things are appearances, even the thought of being the one that encounters an outside world is just another appearance of awareness. Are you following so far? Duality is an idea, and that idea is a non-dual experience, an appearance of awareness. No mystical insight or revelation into non-duality could ever be closer to the truth, in essence, than the delusion of duality, because both are non-dual experiences, and there is only non-dual experience. Delusion and ignorance and grasping and hatred cannot possibly stand in the way of awareness. They are not separate. They are appearances of awareness. When we feel confused, that is awareness in the shape of confusion. The appearance of confusion is a way that awareness reveals itself. That is the revelation. Everything is this revelation. Insight into non-duality is simply the recognition that the revelation is already present. Appearances are not separate from their apparentness. Confusion is an appearance, so confusion is not separate from its apparentness. You cannot escape from that. There's nowhere to go. Wanting to escape confusion is confusion. It is wanting to escape, wanting to escape. But wanting to escape is already apparent. It is already the revelation. Awareness can appear as the avoidance of its own knowledge that it can appear as anything, including confusion. It's quite a remarkable situation. Awareness can appear as the desire to step outside its own universality, to escape its own inescapability. Just think about this. Both the sense of separation and the clarity of non-duality are inseparable from awareness. They are both perfectly apparent, and so neither is closer or further from awareness than the other. Confusion and clarity can be distinguished only in the sense that what appears could be the idea that appearance is different than awareness. If what appears is the recognition that what is appearing is an appearance of awareness, then we get clarity. If not, we get confusion. Both are apparent, one just doesn't recognize its own apparentness. Confusion is already the revelation. It is simply revelation in the form of non-recognition. The idea that confusion is a barrier to truth only makes sense from the perspective of that confusion, where there is a person who must travel a path to realization. The entire enterprise of spirituality only makes sense from the perspective of confusion. Indeed, it is constructed purely for confusion, because the idea of a veil, or a journey, or a path gives direction to a mind that sees itself as separate. But when appearance has become transparent, it is clear that even the appearance of confusion never concealed anything at all. The nature of reality is revelation, and every person is a non-dual revelation of awareness. This spontaneous, groundless, and intelligible world is the appearance of perfect freedom and creativity. That which seems to awaken is simply the mental recognition of what has always been the case. And yet, we treat this mental recognition as something profoundly important. We mistake the mental recognition for the freedom that was present long before we recognized it. No path or practice can change awareness, can change the fact that things are apparent, because it's not a thing. There's no point of contact at which we could catch a hold of it. It's not conditioned or subject to change. It's just a fact. Spirituality can only work to alter conditioned appearances, like thinking. Only on the relative level of experience does the notion of spiritual development make any sense at all. And the only thing it can develop is the manner in which the ego thinks of itself as spiritual. This isn't complicated. If something can change or improve, then that thing must exist within the domain of causality. It must be a conditioned appearance. The ultimate goal of spirituality is the attainment of the acceptance that there is nothing to ultimately attain, the relative affirmation of what ultimately is the case. It is an agreement between conceptual self-recognition and the immediate self-knowing of apparentness. Of course, it is better in a relative sense for one's mind to be in harmony with the ultimate state of freedom than to be out of harmony with it. It is better to be wise than confused, better to be calm than anxious, better to be kind than cruel. These things are the knowable reflections of the unknowable, but the very relativization of the unlimited necessitates the appearance of that which, relatively speaking, is false and bad. Reality itself is non-dual, while truth and falsehood are dual, and thus purely conceptual. The entire edifice of spirituality is a grandiose performance pointing back to what was never hidden. The presentation and the path and the journey and the destination are spectacular, but the point is profoundly ordinary. It's neither something we can want or not want. It's just this, and there's nothing else, and we cannot not have it.